Greetings. Today I would like to show you how to use OpenAI API to make requests, to parse response, and to act upon it. So basically ChatGPT, but programmatically. Let's dive into it. Solution, and for start we'll create just a new test class. We'll call it Chat GPT AI, ChatGPT API. I'll have a separate folder for it because we'll have quite a lot of stuff there. ChatGPT. As usual, now, first thing, so what I would like to do, the problem statement. I'll have some questions. I'll show you in a minute. And user has to fill in answers, and we will store those answers in a CSV file. And also, one of the answers is a free text that user gives us. And we will ask AI to compare and maybe to adjust answers based on free text. Basically, a lie detector, seeing if user has chosen a numeric scores different from what he actually writes in free text. Let's do it. Public thing just fact. First of all, I'll bring the list of questions that I have prepared. These are questions like a user answers, or somebody can go ahead and rate a company and answer questions about a company. It's related to carbon, to sustainability, all of that stuff. And for instance, there are questions like how well the company expects to promote employee rights, human rights. How does it positively impact the local community? And so on and so forth. Example of, now let's add an example of a CSV file with answers to those questions. I have created this file, CSV file with 5 rows, and as its headers we have timestamp, company name, every question, and in the end row ID, just for the usage. You'll see later why. Here, users provide numeric answers from 1 to 10 to the first 10 questions, whatever. The important bit is also this answer to the last question, which is a free text question. Basically, what else would you like to say? And for the one row, they say workers are forced to work extra hours in harsh conditions, something about companies dumping waste into river, seemingly unrelated stuff. And something about company has building a community that provides. Now, I've added a CSV file, properties, build action, embedded resource. So the first thing, let's read this CSV file. For that, I'll usually create a CSV map file as usual, as we have done before. I have created a strongly typed object representing user answer, its timestamp, company name, answers to questions 1 to 10 as an integer, string answer to question 11, row ID, in case we need to link it up to string method, gets. And I have also added a class map for CSV parsing, user answer map, and mapping all the properties, row ID is optional. Okay, so now we can actually, at the first step of reading the file, should be very right, as we done it before. We have added reading byte from the corresponding CSV file. Now I want just to read it using user answer map. It says out errors. Let's check what method did we have. Yeah. This is not a generic method. but luckily we can just use its generic version. Basically like this, T. No, that's really good. Helm. It's for stream reader, and this one is used for Python. Can change it to everything. Map of a T, reading, and let's fix this one as well. Right. So now it all uses generic versions. And one last. While fix it, we broke another test, and it says cannot be inferred from usage. It wants us to tell it which class it should parse it to. So employee data. Data CSV model. Build succeeded. Okay, and now we have test. Let's quickly run it just to be sure that it's all working and we are able to read CSV file. Oh, it failed. Timestamp was not found, headers were not found. It's because it is expecting the default delimiter. Delimiter is set as a column. We need to change it. And basically to change it, I would like to just pass it here. Delimiter is column. This method is reading from Python. Additional parameters, string delimiter. And maybe it's optional. One can not pass it at all. Okay, and eventually we'd like to pass it here. Now it's a stream reader, memory stream reader. We pass it here. String delimiter is no. And one last thing that we would like to do is then to change CSV config, to use a different CSV config. You can do it like this. Actually, create a method called config. Passing delimiter. It should return us a CSV configuration, and if delimiter is null, we just return default CSV config. But if it's not, let's create our own new config. Basically, it can be just done like this. Application. Root delimiter as it, and now we're using this. We'll just rename this to default. Build succeeded. Okay, running one more time. Conversion from text to row ID. For the sake of this, okay, let's fix the conversion because it doesn't know the row IDs. I'll just make my file proper. So row 1, 2, 3, 4, and find row IDs in the file. We'll need it for mapping the answers. Let's try it one more time. Now we get answers read from the C file. Great. Let's now get to OpenAI parse. For that, I'll be using the code that OpenAI provides for us, how to connect to its API programmatically. It uses a key and an URL. So let me put it in. This is the code for OpenAI API caller. Basically, we have two input parameters, API key and endpoint. You can get those from your paid model probably. So what do we do? It's just an HTTP client, API key, we set API key, and a payload. Payload contains information about the role. In this case, you're an AI assistant that helps people to analyze data. And then we have some prompt. Prompt is an input to this method. Prompt is a full text, full query, what we want to do, AI to do. There's some technical tokens, then response and parsing. Here, I'm trying to parse the response to the OpenAI response, but here we don't have anything yet. I'll show you in a minute. And then it's dynamic parsing here. Okay, and if there's any error, it will go through this flow. Test, create OpenAPI caller using my secret key and endpoint, and to make a call, execute. Now I would like to pass prompt. Response. Let me show you how I formulate the prompt for my problem. I've created a prompt, let's go through it, and I'll explain you what I'm doing. Let's look at it in debug mode. Full text prompt view. Okay, so I'm explaining AI exactly what I want to do. So I'm saying I have a question filled by users. Here are the questions. I list all the questions from 10 to 11. And I give my understanding. For questions 1 to 2, user gives an answer with a number. 1 to 2, 1 to 10, 11 is a free-form text. I would like you to analyze it and suggest in which questions numeric answer isn't reflecting what exactly is in free text. Numeric answer from a user has a discrepancy, lie, free text. And then suggest some appropriate number. And I'm trying to give an example. I'm taking the question, and it says something about how would you rate the accountability of company's leadership? User answers 10, my company is very good, my leadership is very good accountable. However, in question level, it writes that leadership accountability needs strengthening. There is a discrepancy. And I say that it's a discrepancy, it could be. Here below I say that I provide rows with answers, please provide your comments, keeping the row ID. So now I need to add the text, the answers that I have read to this prompt. Let's do it. I have added a for each loop that is looping through answers. And I do it with chunks, meaning that only 10 answers at a time will be loaded here in a batch. And then I loop through each answer in a batch and add it to the prompt. It's using string builder, so this loads the initial prompt, and then this where new line loads every answer. So let's check how it looks when we run it. Final prompt. Hey, blah, blah, blah. And here I have answers. And here I pass the information about 5 rows, 5 answers to rows. Great. Let's time to call it. And we have a breakpoint here. run. Oh, let me check. What about await operator here? It wasn't awaiting. Response. Okay, I got my response in dynamic text. Check it. It is in the form of a JSON token. Probably it's easier to see it in the so the response looks like this. Choices, it has content filters, check if it hates speech, protected material, or whatever. Basically, it has its response and it has the message here where we want our actual data. So I asked chat to provide a strongly typed response model for this OpenAI response. And here what it came up with. The full class, response, choices, all of the code that we saw, basically, all of the filterings, everything is parsed to strongly typed. So now I can actually check how the response that I'm interested in is looking. For that, I'll just take OpenAI response, first choice, message, debug mode. Okay, message. Here is the let's analyze free text responses discrepancies provided. User has rated this at 9, but free text matches. Workers are forced, blah blah blah, indicating the poor respect for employee rights. Suggested score 2. 2, and so it does for all. And it nice. Basically, here is an important point. Like if we keep running this few times, OpenAI will give us different response because it's neural network, and it may vary its response format. So I would like to fix response to a particular less verbose state that I can always parse using my same object, strongly typed objects, and then act upon it. So now I will add it to the prompt. So my desire for a response from AI being in a particular format. We have changed it. Now let's check the final prompt and the response. So the final prompt looks like this, and the important changes is that I'm saying, please respond in the following format. First row as an example. So I'd like it to be as pipe separated, parquet file, row ID, this is explanation, and the suggested score. Use this instead of this instead of this. Everything else is safe. And now we can check message. And yes, indeed, I understood it. Free text highlights hard working conditions and suggests. This gives the suggestions. Second comment about wasting contradicts high score waste management. 3 instead of 9. No changes suggested because correlate is irrelevant, like I like balloons. And here it says it mentions positive community contributions and it contradicts the low score. It would like to give it a higher score for the particular question of the community contribution. Great. So now what is left is I would like now to respond to parse it to the strongly typed object. Here I have text, but I would like to convert it to something that I can work on in my code further on. Let's do it. So there are a couple of ways of doing it. One thing is I could ask not about this format, but directly about JSON response, then parse it. Or I can ask Chat to write me a code how to parse this particular format. I decided for this video I will take this route. So here how I go about it. I got a response. This is how it is. And basically I feedback the response from my model to Chat that I have opened in the Chrome. And I ask it to please parse it to strongly typed image. And here it goes. Here it will define the model. Here is the parsing logic. Yeah, it's not pretty at all, but who cares? Copy and paste. Anyway, yeah, we can try and see if it works. So let's grab this logic. So I have added row analysis, dictionary of suggested scores, and row analysis parser just exactly as Chat has suggested. Let's use it now. Parse response. I call parser and I pass in the message. Let's debug it. And it was able to parse it. You can see that it has a comment, it has a row ID, it has suggested scores. An array of suggested scores. One is for question 4. Here's original, here is suggested. Great. This video is already getting long. So in it, we were able to read answers from CC and actually generate a prompt and to AI. I was able to understand it and ask AI additional questions on how to parse its response, parse its response, then parse even the text within the response to strongly typed objects that we have seen. So in the next one, I'll show you how we can use it, basically how to use it to update our CSV file, write the result back, and also how to touch on the topic on how to efficiently search for data in memory. That's why we got row IDs. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.